Longline fishing for tuna is a traditional but still very effective method, commonly used by fishermen in many sea areas around the world, including Vietnam. This method not only helps to exploit ocean tuna with a stable output but also contributes to protecting the marine environment thanks to its high selectivity. Before going to sea, fishermen carefully prepare a longline system, including a main line that can be tens of kilometers long, on which are attached thousands of smaller hooks at equal intervals. Each hook is usually baited with live fish, squid or fake bait to attract tuna. Fishing boats often operate at night or early morning, when tuna are active near the surface of the water. Upon arriving at the fishing ground, fishermen gradually lower the line system into the sea, marking the location with buoys and positioning devices. After a few hours, or the next morning, they return to pull the line up and collect the fish. This process requires skill, patience and health because tuna is very strong and can struggle strongly when hooked. After being brought onto the ship, the fish will be quickly processed and stored in a cold storage to maintain freshness. Although it takes a lot of time and effort, long-line tuna fishing brings high economic efficiency and ensures the quality of fish meat, especially serving the export market, especially Japan, where there is a great demand for tuna for processing sashimi and sushi. This is not only a profession, but also a typical cultural feature of fishermen in the open sea, demonstrating the long-standing bond between people and the sea. However, long-line tuna fishing also has many potential difficulties and challenges. The time at sea often lasts from several days to several weeks. Fishermen have to face harsh weather, big waves and strong winds, along with the risks of work accidents or equipment damage at sea. Tracking tuna migration is not easy, requiring extensive experience and a keen sense of predicting the direction of the fish according to the season, water currents and sea temperature. In addition, the initial investment costs for boats, fishing lines, cold storage equipment and fuel are quite high, making this profession only suitable for fishermen who have the conditions or receive financial support from the state. However, the profit from each successful fishing trip is not small, especially if high-quality, large-weight tuna are caught. A skipjack or big-eye tuna can weigh from 50 to more than 100 kilograms, and is highly valued in the international market. In recent years, to improve fishing efficiency, many fleets have applied modern technology such as GPS locators, fish finders, and satellite communication systems to better coordinate during the fishing process. In addition, training courses on proper fish preservation techniques after catching, such as quick cooling with ice or placing in deep freezers, also help improve the quality of post-harvest products. It can be said that longline tuna fishing is a combination of traditional labor and scientific and technological advances. Playing an important role in developing the marine economy and affirming the position of Vietnamese seafood in the international market, not only bringing economic value. Longline tuna fishing is also closely associated with the cultural and spiritual life of coastal fishermen. Each trip to sea is not only a journey to make a living but also a close connection with the sea, where they entrust their faith, hope and stories passed down from generation to generation about resilience and courage in the face of ocean waves. Many families working in the sea have been attached to tuna fishing for many generations, passing down from their fathers to their children valuable experiences on how to tie hooks, choose the right bait, identify good fishing grounds, or how to handle large fish. Especially during tuna season, the whole fishing village becomes bustling and vibrant. When ships dock with fresh catches of fish, the urgent working atmosphere from the fishing port to the processing area makes the coastal area full of vitality. Tuna fishing therefore not only contributes to the development of the local economy but also creates stable jobs for thousands of workers. From those who directly go to sea to those involved in fishing logistics activities such as transportation, processing, preservation and export. In the context of increasingly fierce integration and competition, the protection and sustainable development of longline tuna fishing is an urgent requirement. This requires more support from state policies, such as investment in fishing infrastructure, credit support, technical training, and international trade promotion. At the same time, fishermen also need to raise awareness of protecting aquatic resources, avoiding overexploitation and complying with regulations on minimum size, spawning season or prohibited fishing areas to preserve tuna resources for future generations. Thus, longline fishing for tuna is not only an effective fishing method but also an indispensable part of the journey to preserve and develop the country's sustainable marine economy. In addition to the obvious benefits, longline fishing for tuna is also facing many challenges due to climate change and the decline in aquatic resources. Changes in sea temperature, currents and salinity have significantly affected the migration habits of tuna, making it increasingly difficult and less effective to determine fishing grounds. Many fishermen have reported that tuna production has shown signs of decline in recent years, while fuel and material costs have increased, reducing profits and forcing many boats into a state of limited operation. In addition, competition with foreign industrial fishing vessels, especially large-scale fishing vessels using modern technology, also puts significant pressure on local fishermen. In this situation, reorganizing production according to the model of fishing teams, cooperatives and closely linking fishermen with purchasing, processing, exporting enterprises are considered feasible solutions to help increase the value of tuna product chains. Support programs from the government and international organizations also play an important role. Such as traceability projects, eco-labeling for tuna products that meet sustainable fishing standards, helping to increase export value and expand consumption markets. On the other hand, promoting marine scientific research, monitoring tuna populations and guiding fishermen to update fishing ground information via satellite are also necessary steps to modernize longline tuna fishing. If given due attention, this traditional fishing method will not only continue to play a key role in the seafood exploitation industry but also contribute to preserving the cultural identity of the sea, creating an image of a responsible, environmentally friendly fishing industry in the eyes of international friends in the future. In order for longline tuna fishing to continue to develop sustainably and maintain its position in the seafood export industry, training and improving the skills of fishermen is indispensable. Training courses on post-harvest preservation techniques, proper fish handling, or updating positioning technology. Detecting tuna with modern equipment will help workers increase fishing efficiency, reduce post-harvest losses and increase commercial value. In addition, building the Vietnamese tuna brand in the international market is also an important direction. When tuna products are associated with the image of safe exploitation, environmental protection, and meeting high-quality standards, they will certainly attract attention from demanding markets such as Europe, the US, and Japan. Currently, many Vietnamese enterprises have begun to invest in deep processing, diversifying tuna products such as frozen fillets, canned tuna, smoked tuna, frozen sashimi, etc., contributing to increasing added value instead of just exporting raw tuna as before. In addition, the formation of modern fishing ports and large-scale fishing logistics centers in key coastal areas such as Can Hoa, Binh Dinh, and Phu Yen also creates favorable conditions for fishermen to confidently go to sea, shortening the time to preserve and consume fish after landing. With the joint efforts of the state, businesses and the people themselves, longline tuna fishing not only continues to affirm its important role in the marine economy, but also contributes to implementing the strategy of sustainable marine economic development, associated with protecting sea and island sovereignty, preserving natural resources and improving the lives of tens of thousands of fishing households along the coast of Vietnam. This is a vivid demonstration of the harmonious relationship between humans and the ocean, a relationship that has been formed and nurtured over hundreds of years. It is undeniable that longline tuna fishing is not only a livelihood but also a symbol of the courage, resilience and overcoming difficulties of Vietnamese fishermen. On each long sea trip, they not only face challenges from nature but also shoulder the responsibility of protecting aquatic resources and preserving the sovereignty of their homeland seas. It is from these silent efforts that fresh, delicious ocean tuna, rich in the flavor of the ocean, have traveled thousands of kilometers. Appearing on the dining tables of high-end restaurants around the world. This further affirms the important role of tuna fishing in raising the position of Vietnamese seafood on the global trade map in the context of the world increasingly promoting sustainable standards and food traceability. Longline tuna fishing, which is considered environmentally friendly and causes little damage to the marine ecosystem, has many opportunities to expand the market if organized and managed effectively. This is the right time for Vietnam to shift from small-scale, fragmented exploitation to professional, organized production with a long-term strategy. To do that, close coordination is needed between all parties, from the state with the role of guiding, supporting policies and infrastructure, to businesses with processing capacity and market connection, and finally the people, the subjects directly implementing and maintaining the traditional profession. Longline tuna fishing, therefore, is not simply an effective fishing method. But also a story of adaptation, innovation and development in the modern flow. Although there are still many difficulties, with a steadfast spirit of sticking to the sea, along with the right investment, this traditional profession will certainly continue to develop strongly, bringing great value to Vietnam's marine economy in the present and future in addition to bright prospects. The most important thing for the sustainable development of longline tuna fishing is the community awareness and responsibility of each fisherman towards the marine environment and aquatic resources. During the exploitation process, limiting the capture of non-target species, complying with regulations on the size of fish allowed to be exploited, as well as avoiding dumping plastic waste and damaged nets into the sea are practical actions to help protect the marine ecosystem. In addition, there needs to be regular monitoring and inspection mechanisms from competent authorities to ensure that tuna fishing is operated transparently, in accordance with international regulations. avoiding overexploitation or illegal. Unreported and unregulated (IUU) fishing. Only when the fishing industry fully meets the standards of resource and environmental protection can it maintain its export market, especially in countries that set strict standards on the origin and sustainability of seafood exploitation. On the other hand, preserving and promoting cultural values and customs related to tuna fishing is also worth paying attention to. Fishing festivals, departure ceremonies, folk songs or stories about stormy sea voyages are the soul of the fishing industry, a valuable spiritual heritage that needs to be preserved and passed on to future generations. Integrating cultural elements into the development of sea and island tourism, such as organizing tours to experience tuna fishing with fishermen, also opens up a new direction to increase community income and raise social awareness of this traditional profession. In short, long-line tuna fishing is a unique beauty that combines production labor, economic value, traditional culture and environmental responsibility. Despite many difficulties and challenges, with the efforts of the whole community, along with the support of authorities and businesses at all levels, tuna fishing will certainly continue to develop strongly, becoming the pride of Vietnamese fishermen and contributing to affirming the national position in the field of marine economy in the 21st century. In the journey towards sustainable marine economic development, longline tuna fishing can completely play the role of an exemplary model if properly invested and with a long-term strategy. One of the important orientations today is to link tuna fishing with a complete value chain. From exploitation, preservation, processing, distribution, export. When fishermen are not only fishermen but also participate in the stages of classification, preservation according to standards and closely coordinate with businesses in the supply chain, the value of tuna products will be significantly increased. Along with that, the application of digital technology such as software management, updating catch data, online traceability, etc. will help increase transparency, meet the requirements of the global market and create trust for international consumers. In addition, in the context of the world's fisheries increasingly moving towards the goals of responsible fishing and clean seafood, tuna caught by long lines, with the advantage of causing less harm to non-target marine life such as sea turtles, dolphins or coral species, has great potential to be recognized by prestigious certification organizations such as MSC, Marine Stewardship Council. This is a great opportunity for Vietnam to build the brand of sustainable tuna, thereby creating a competitive advantage over countries that exploit by destructive or uncontrolled methods. Not only does it have an economic role, longline tuna fishing also carries a great mission, that is to preserve the harmony between people and the ocean, between tradition and modernity, in an era where many traditional occupations are fading away. Maintaining and developing a profession with a strong fishing character like tuna fishing is an affirmation of the cultural identity and self-reliance of our nation, with the desire to reach out and the spirit of constant innovation. Tuna fishing will certainly continue to be a solid support for fishermen's lives and the pride of Vietnam on the journey to master the sea in a comprehensive view. Longline tuna fishing is not only a purely economic activity, but also part of a national development strategy associated with the sea, where resources, identity, and sovereignty converge, in the context of the international community increasingly attaching importance to food security and protecting sovereignty at sea. Vietnam's tuna fishing fleets are not simply fishing but also a living milestone, affirming the long-term, persistent presence of Vietnamese people in distant waters. It is from these seemingly normal trips to sea that fishermen are contributing to affirming sacred sovereignty and protecting national interests in a quiet but extremely sustainable way. To continue to improve the tuna fishing profession, there needs to be an effective combination of three key factors: people, technology, and policy. Fishermen need to be properly trained, supported to improve their technical skills and awareness of protecting the marine environment. Technology needs to be applied widely and reasonably, from the stage of determining fishing grounds, managing sea trips, to preserving and processing products. State policies need to ensure long-term, synchronous and encouraging nature, creating conditions for fishermen to feel secure in their profession, without being pressured by economic risks or instability in the consumption market. Finally, for longline tuna fishing to truly become a national pride and strength, it is necessary to further promote the spirit of cooperation between fishermen and businesses, and between localities with strengths in the sea. Only when there is a close connection throughout the chain, from exploitation to consumption, from domestic to international, can the true value of Vietnamese tuna be fully promoted. And then, the ocean tuna, a symbol of strength, endurance and aspiration to reach far, will not only be a commercial product, but also a pride bearing the national mark in the vast ocean. In the near future, turning longline tuna fishing into a modern, smart and highly competitive industry in the international market is completely feasible if there is a clear development orientation and a synchronous investment strategy. One of the important steps is to promote digital transformation in the fishing industry, something that has been effectively applied by many developed countries. Through the application of software for managing fishing vessel routes, catch monitoring systems, and electronic fishing ground maps, fishermen not only save time and costs, but can also proactively adapt to fluctuations in weather and aquatic resources. Building shared databases, connecting management agencies, fishermen, businesses will also facilitate the issuance of certificates of origin. Compliance with regulations against IUU fishing and enhancing the value of Vietnamese tuna brands. In addition, an indispensable factor to enhance competitiveness is the development of young human resources with professional qualifications and passion for the maritime profession. There should be systematic maritime vocational training programs at coastal vocational schools, combining practical practice on fishing vessels to impart skills and experience, while accessing modern scientific and technological advances. Encouraging the younger generation to participate in the fishing industry is not only a solution to maintain the workforce but also a way to preserve traditional values. Valuable lessons that our ancestors have left through many generations attached to the sea. It can be said that longline tuna fishing is the crystallization of honest labor, indigenous intelligence and the aspirations of coastal people to reach out. Preserving and promoting this profession is not only for economic benefits but also a responsibility towards the ocean, the community and the future of the country. By harmoniously combining tradition and modernity, exploitation and conservation, economic development and sovereignty preservation, Vietnam can completely build a sustainable, effective and unique tuna fishing industry, a solid pride amidst the storms to achieve that goal. Protecting marine resources and developing tuna fishing requires close cooperation among many subjects. From fishermen, researchers, management agencies to businesses inside and outside the industry. Programs to protect and restore aquatic resources must be implemented synchronously, especially in